Morning, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Good.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too. You ready to make some pasta?
Yeah, let's get to it. I'm excited.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so when we're making extruded pastas, typically we try and utilize 100% durum semolina. That's really our goal. It's a very high protein flour. Okay, in this particular case, it's a Canadian durum semolina. It's a little bit of a larger grain versus something you may be used to, like a 00 or a semolina di macinata. And this is what we prefer to use on the extruder. Very high protein. You can get into certain recipes where there's certain ratios where you're influencing the final product, making it softer, making it cook faster, that sort of thing. Utilizing other different flours, 00 flour, whatever the case may be. But for today's purposes, and just kind of the baseline of the products that we make in general, we're just gonna use 100% durum semolina. Just gonna scale out the semolina flour. It's gonna take me a little bit. A couple minutes. Perfect. The way that I like to do things, I like to do 50% water, 50% egg. It's just a preference in our recipe. But traditionally you would see just water. We want to keep the mix as cool as possible. There's going to be a lot of heat that's going to be generated in the process of extruding and when the mix is in the machine. So as much as we can keep all of our ingredients cold, the better our mix is going to come out. We're going to use cold water to get to the other 50%. We're looking for 2.4 kg. Perfect. Based on kind of the conditions of the room, the conditions of the machine, the conditions of the flour, that sort of thing. It's all gonna play a part in what's happening, okay? Now we gotta assemble the machine.
Okay.
It goes the other way. Just like that. Perfect, that's keyed in, and we're all good to go. After we use the die, right, this is what a die looks like, okay? And it's just a whole solid piece of brass that's been kind of machined so that it will shape the pasta. Mm-hmm. And for every shape of pasta, there's a different die. Okay. Right? So this is only gonna make one certain type of pasta. After we use the die on the machine, there's always dough that's kind of stuck inside here. So we have to let the die sit and soak. Right? And then once a week we clean them out, but for daily use, they sit and soak. Anything that's not being used, like if we have pastas that are not really in production right now, like they're just not getting ordered or it's off a menu, that sort of thing, they get cleaned out, dried out, and then they sit in storage at ambient temperature. So like these are not being used at the moment, right? So this, for instance, it's casarecce, so it's a twisted type of pasta. Nobody's really ordering it right now. It's not on any of our customers' menus, so we clean it out and it sits here dry.
Yeah.
The stuff that we are using, as I mentioned, it sits in water.
Right.
And of course, anything that we are going to put back into production, right? So for instance, on today's order, there's a lot of pastas that are non-inventory items for us, or items that we are not producing on a weekly basis. So we had to pull it from storage and let them soak. So the die goes face down. It's just a mesh filter. It's gonna sit, and that's gonna prevent kind of any dry pieces to come through. Carefully gets threaded onto here. that's it.
It's ready to go.
It's ready to rock.
So I just dump it in?
Yep, dump it in.
The whole thing?
The whole thing.
Okay. I think it's good.
Yeah, it looks good. Just throw the whisk in there. So we're gonna start the machine like this. We're gonna make sure, because we have a dry mix, there's no liquid in there, that we're in mix, not in extrude. Okay, this machine is 35 years old.
Okay.
So it has a little bit of quirks to it.
A classic one.
There you go. So now that's mixing. So now what you can do is now you can grab your egg. It's right through the top, anywhere in the top. You just want to pour it slowly in.
Slowly,
Yeah.
okay. How slow do I go? Really slow?
No, you don't have to go really slow. Don't be scared, but don't make a mess.
I don't want to mess it up. Your kitchen, your rules.
Pouring it in slowly is obviously one of the best things we can do. You can see already that it's starting to take on this texture that's still a little bit on the crumbly side for me.
Okay.
From my preference, right? I just want it to be just a little tighter. It's still just a little too crumbly for my liking.
Okay.
Okay. I know it just needs a little bit. So it clumps together, but it still sort of breaks apart when I run my hands through it. Now, it needs a couple of minutes to rest.
Okay.
I can tell because it's like I can still feel some dry, but once it's rests for a couple of minutes, it's gonna be perfect. This is looking great. Right. Yeah, this is perfect. Perfect. I used to work at restaurants, this sort of thing.
Yeah.
But anyways, I was fresh off a couple trips from Italy and learning how to make pasta and this sort of thing.
Yeah.
When the pandemic hit.
Yes.
So we all lost our jobs.
Yeah.
Right? Nothing. You were here for that. So
Yes,
you know
I was
exactly
here.
what happened.
Yeah.
Anyways, I said, oh, I just came back from Italy. Like I just had learned all these things. I can't just sit around and do nothing. Right?
Yeah.
So I started an online company.
Okay.
I just created a website, Pastaio.
Pastaio.
And within like 24 hours, like we already had orders that were coming in from people, right?
Oh, nice.
At the time, I was living at my parents' house. So I was making it in my mom's basement and then delivering it to people, right?
Nice.
And then as the restaurant started to open, you know, it started to do takeout, you know, the restrictions started to change a little bit. Then it started to get a little bit of attention from some restaurants.
Yeah.
It was a snowball effect. And I was actually working part-time at some places as well, right?
Okay, in the restaurant.
In the restaurants. I was still like, as the restaurant started to open, I started to go back to work, but I went to work at other places, helping friends out. You know, obviously, you know, with time, the team, you know, they leave and they move, right? And one thing leads to another where, you know, the guy that I was, my sous chef at one restaurant that I was working at, he goes to work at another restaurant and he goes,
And
hey,
then
I know this great pasta maker, like let's order the pasta. So it kind of snowballs, right?
Yeah.
And like 13 restaurants and hotels.
Okay.
Right, just to name a few, 13. Like there's a lot of that are occasional, but every week it's about 12 to 13 restaurants. Right? The grand scheme of things in Toronto, it's not a huge number, but you know what I mean? And that's how we went from, you know, my mom's basement to
a big business,
to selling to people online, to you know, to like now like a 1,700 square foot kitchen.
It's very inspiring,
and like keep my hand on the front just for now.
Yeah.
Otherwise you get semolina water in the eye. It's not fun.
So it starts extruding right away. Okay.
Yeah, so you'll see it's kind of coming out, but it's like really wet. I don't want to let go of it just yet.
Yeah.
Just gonna let it extrude for a little bit. Okay, and that's about all the kind of junk that was sitting in the die, so I'm gonna cut that off. Now what we want to do is we want to get the die up to temperature. So if you feel it, it's still pretty cold. It's just at room temperature, right?
Yeah.
And you see all these like lines in the dough?
Yeah.
Okay, we don't want that. We want a consistent look and feel to the pasta, okay?
Okay.
So we'll know that
Now I think it's getting better.
yeah, you can see that you'll see it's getting better over time. Okay, so you can see right now the difference from start to finish, right? And the die is still not even completely hot, but you can already see how it's starting to change, right? So now we're getting to a little bit more of a consistent look and feel. Okay. So we'll snap that off.
Goes back in.
This can go back in, yeah, nothing goes to waste. We still have to get a little bit more temperature out of this. So now we can start cutting our rigatoni. Just like that. Okay, so the other thing is this is hot and it's steaming. Okay, and remember what I told you what the goal was? The goal was to get this pasta to cool down
As quickly as possible.
So on this machine, we have a fan So I'm going to turn on the fan, and you can feel this cold blowing air under here.
Okay.
Right? So this is going to cool it down as soon as it comes out, right? And it's going to start to harden that exterior.
And that will maintain the shape.
That will maintain the shape, right? If I don't run the fan, it will. So that's another reason why we want to cool it down as quickly as possible, because there's steam coming off, right? So as the steam is coming off, it's getting the exterior of the pasta to be a little bit tacky. The truth is, as long as we have our recipe correct, we shouldn't have a problem. Again, I told you, with the way we do things here, the way I like to do things is a little bit that casalinga, so it's homemade looking, right? So not every piece is going to be the same length, not every piece is going to be the same size.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. Beautiful rigatoni.
Yeah, they are looking really beautiful.
You want to try your hand at cutting? More pressure. Perfect.
Nice.
It's okay. We're gonna put it back in the machine anyways, don't worry. So as the dye is heating up, it comes out, obviously when it gets to working temperature, it's consistent. But from start to finish, till it gets to working temperature, that timing kind of changes a little.
Okay. Is that enough? Or
Yeah, good. I'm just letting you get content.
So this is the most important stuff. Once you are done making pasta, what you do? You take some pictures. So you guys know I made this pasta.
Towards you, you're pulling, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
And this one goes.
This one goes back in the water, yeah.
Okay.
So now it's
I
when
can do
it's-
it.
When it's submerged, yeah, it's hot, so be careful.
Yeah.
So into the water.
Any?
Yep. All three of those got to get done, so. Real good, and then we. Back on the machine.
Okay.
Comfortable with that?
Yeah.
The small little deli container there?
Yeah. That's a cutter.
Yeah, there's a little blade in there. Okay, so that slips onto here, but it's keyed. So there's a flat side. See, there's a flat side to this right here?
Yes.
And I'll push it in. And I'm gonna, and while we push it in, we're just gonna hold it like that, drop it down.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's out.
Yep.
Stop it.
Well, you just scrape it.
That's cavatelli, yeah?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yes.
Want it to
Do you
curl.
want it to be more open?
I want it to curl a little bit more.
Okay.
A lot of
Now
pasta
you-
you made today, eh?
I was very excited to learn this. I'm happy. What's it called?
Creste di gallo, which means the chicken, you know, the chicken how has the
Yeah, the thing on
fucking weird thing on the back of its neck?
yeah.
After that,
Stop it.
great job on the machine today. Seriously.
Thank you so
Knocked
much.
it out of the park.
It was a
Knocked it out of the
pleasure.
park.
Yeah.
These are for you. Bunch of pasta to take home. Okay?
Thank you so much. I
Enjoy
really
it.
appreciate it. Hopefully in the future, if I come back to Toronto, I would love to come again and do some things with you.
We're hiring
Actually,
in a couple weeks.
okay. I'm ready to work. If you need anyone to work with you, I'm ready. It was a lot of fun. I learned a lot. If you ever come to India, we would love to host you and show you around.
Thank you for that.
We'll be in touch.
Meet you
Thank
as
you
well.
so much.
You guys are amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.